All right. I hope everybody's doing all right today on this Monday. Uh, we are still talking about the Renaissance today, and the Renaissance was an age of exploration and discovery. It's when they mapped a lot of routes to Africa. They discovered the New World with Christopher Columbus. Uh, Lots of things were explored and found during the Renaissance, or time of the Renaissance, and the age of exploration. So uh, that's what we're talking about today. Some of the things, some of the things that were found. Ultimately, why did they do all this exploring? It's about money. What I always say, it's about everything's about money. So it was about money then too. But it was from 1400s to the 1600s is when this took place. When the age of exploration took place, and that's what we're talking about today. So I don't know, I've got to turn my volume up for y'all so y'all can hear just a little bit better when this reads. Sorry about that. All right, so the age of exploration is also called the age of discovery. And like I said, it began in the 1400s and it went through the 1600s. And if you look here, over here to the right, these are some of the places they explored during this time. All these little lines here are places they explored. They went around Africa. They discovered South America, North America, which was the New World, what they called it. All these different routes. It was a time period, though, the age of exploration was when the European nation began exploring the world, and they discovered all those new routes, India, Far East, Americas, and it took place at the same time as the Renaissance.
Age of exploration. The age of exploration, also called the age of discovery, began in the 1400s and continued through the 1600s. It was a period of time when the European nations began exploring the world. They discovered new routes to India, much of the Far East, and the Americas. The age of exploration took place at the same time as the Renaissance.
All right, so why did they explore? I have said this before, and I'll say it again. The same reason that most of our history that we talk about, for money. Money. That's exactly why. Look right here. They wanted all this. This is what money looked like back then. A little different from nowadays. So gold, money. It was very important to them. So it was risky though. I mean, they could send out these ships, and these ships might not ever return. But if they did, hey, we've got a new route. We can go and find all this and all this new spices and silk from India and from China and from Asia. So it was easy. It was a risk reward kind of thing. So, but the simple answer is money. Some explorers wanted fame, but the main purpose of an expedition was to make money. I've got this highlighted right here. The main purpose was to make money.
Why explore? Outfitting an expedition could be expensive and risky. Many ships never returned. So why did the Europeans want to explore? The simple answer is money. Although some individual explorers wanted to gain fame or experience adventure, the main purpose of an expedition was to make money.
All right, so how did these expeditions make money? You look here, they've got more trade routes I've got over here on the side. So when the Ottoman Empire, which we didn't talk about because I didn't want to go into it with you, they captured Constantinople in 1453. A lot of these trade routes that were owned by land were shut down. So these trade routes were really valuable because they could get spices and silk and stuff. So the new expeditions, though, were to discover other routes to these places that were by the ocean, going by the ocean, the routes to India and the Far East.
How did expeditions make money? Expeditions made money primarily by discovering new trade routes for their nations. When the Ottoman Empire captured Constantinople in 1453, many existing trade routes to India and China were shut down. These trade routes were very valuable as they brought in expensive products such as spices and silk. New expeditions tried to discover ocean-going routes to India and the Far East.
So these expeditions made money primarily by discovering these new trade routes. So some expeditions became rich by discovering gold and silver. Christopher Columbus is one of those. We're going to talk a little bit about Christopher Columbus, but he is one of those. He discovered the New World in 1492, but he wasn't the nicest man. Okay, and he was looking strictly for gold and silver, and did some very bad things to the Native Americans. But some expeditions became rich by gold and silver. Others were colonies they could establish, and they planted these crops, planted cotton, they planted tobacco, they planted sugar, and all of the colonies, especially the American colonies that they set up, the 13 American colonies. And they made money that way.
How did they make money continued? Some expeditions became rich by discovering gold and silver, such as the expeditions of the Spanish to the Americas. They also found new land where colonies could be established and crops such as sugar, cotton, and tobacco could be grown.
Ultimately, though, all this was for money. It was all for money. So if you look here, you've got Henry the Navigator. Okay, he was from Portugal. All right, the age of exploration began in Portugal under his leadership. He sent out ships to map and explore the west coast of Africa. So he sent out ships to explore down here in the west coast of Africa and figure out, hey, how can I do these trade routes? Where can we go? And they went further south than any previous European expedition and mapped. He set maps for Africa for the Portuguese.
Henry the Navigator. The age of exploration began in the nation of Portugal under the leadership of Henry the Navigator. Henry sent out ships to map and explore the west coast of Africa. They went further south than any previous European expedition and mapped much of Western Africa for the Portuguese.
It's right here. This is Christopher Columbus. I told you we'd talk about him just a little bit. I'm not a real big fan of Christopher Columbus. So soon the Spanish wanted to find a trade route to the Far East, and Christopher Columbus said, hey, I can go do this. So, but the Portuguese wouldn't fund his expedition, so he went to the Spanish. And Isabella and Ferdinand agreed to pay for his trip, and he discovered the New World by accident, the Americas, in 1492.
Christopher Columbus. Soon the Spanish wanted to find a trade route to the Far East. Explorer Christopher Columbus thought that he could sail west across the Atlantic Ocean to China. He could not get the Portuguese to fund his expedition, so he went to the Spanish. Spanish monarchs Isabella and Ferdinand agreed to pay for Columbus's trip. In 1492, Columbus discovered the New World of the Americas.
And like I said earlier, Columbus did a whole bunch of other stuff that he was not a nice man. We're not going to get into that right now. So I just want you to know that. So whatever we've heard in history books prior to this is not all true. So, all right. So the colonies, these are the 13 colonies here of the Americas. Great Britain put their hand into the pot, okay, eventually, them and the Netherlands. And Great Britain surpassed everybody as the biggest nation worldwide, all right, or the biggest empire. And they were the ones that sent over and started these 13 colonies, which is now part of the United States.
Colonies. Other countries such as Great Britain and the Netherlands established colonies in the New World. Eventually, Great Britain would surpass all the European nations in terms of the size of their worldwide empire, including the 13 colonies in the Americas that later became the United States.
All right. But the age of exploration and discovery, it was really important times in the history of world geography. A lot of the stuff we know now came from then about the geography of the world. All right. During this short time period, they mapped a lot of area during this time. And they also came up with navigation and mapping technology that would help further explorers. So it was an important time for geography as well.
Geography. The age of exploration was one of the most important times in the history of world geography. A significant portion of the unknown world was mapped during this short period. Also, many advances were made in navigation and mapping, which helped future explorers and travelers.
All right, let's do some comprehension questions now. When did the age of exploration begin? Did it begin in the 1400s to the 1600s? Did it begin in 2020 or 1776? The answer is A, the 1400s to the 1600s.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Same time period as the Renaissance was going on. Number 2, what was really the main purpose of exploring? I say this all the time in our class, so y'all should remember this one. A, the main purpose was new routes. B, the main purpose was money. Or C, becoming famous. B, the main purpose was money. Yes,
ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Yes, they wanted to find new trade routes, but in the end, those new trade routes were going to bring them what? Money. So the main purpose was money. All right, number 3, what did the colonies grow to make money? A, corn, B, cotton and tobacco, or C, potatoes? The answer is B, cotton and tobacco. They were called cash crops. All right, so this was another way with these expeditions how they made money.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 4, who sent out ships to map Africa? He started the age of discovery with this. Was it A, Henry the Navigator, B, Christopher Columbus, or C, King Edward I? It was A, Henry the Navigator. He was the leader of Portugal, and he sent out ships to map Africa to find new routes, and he kind of began the whole age of discovery.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 5, what was established during the age of exploration that is now the United States, or part of the United States? A, England, B, Scotland, or C, the 13 colonies? It is C, the 13 colonies. That is who it was established during this time period, and now it's the part of the United States. We live in North Carolina here. That was part of the original 13 colonies.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
All right, class. Y'all did really good today. I will see y'all probably on Wednesday with a new lesson on the Renaissance. I hope everybody's having a good Monday, and I will see you later.